So this is the sea moss in its dried form. So we have the sea moss that we're going to use to soak overnight. And then we have some slices of lime that we will soak the moss in. So before I actually go through the soaking process, I will rinse my moss. I suggest you do the same. And I suggest that you rinse it thoroughly a few times before soaking it overnight, because if I don't know if you can see it here, but sea moss tends to still have the salt content on it, some salt, maybe even some debris and sand. So to avoid having any of this in your finished product, I suggest the rinsing, thorough rinsing of the moss first. Now that I've rinsed the moss thoroughly for several minutes, I will now add some distilled water.
Okay, I'm going to
the
take
actual
another
rinsed moss.
few minutes to rinse this off and I'll be right back.
Probably would want to put the rinsed moss in a very large mixing bowl, preferably glass, because the moss, after it or during the soaking process, it will swell a few times its size. So a large mixing bowl is a good idea. So I have some distilled water here. And I'm pretty much going to cover the moss. And like I said, it's going to swell a few times its size. So it's so I'll probably cover it, submerging it in the water. Okay, so that's the moss. And now what I'll do is, and by the way, that distilled water is room temperature water. I'd probably want to advise you all to use the more of a room temperature for the soaking. So now this is where I will add some lime. Actually soak it in some lime. The lime helps to cleanse or get rid of any leftover debris, salt, or sand during the soaking process. So I have the fresh lime slices. Okay. So that will sit overnight. I'll have it sit overnight. It's up to you. I mean, if you would like to soak your moss longer for more than an overnight process, you can feel free to do that. 24 hours, 48 hours is more than enough time to soak your moss. But again, I normally soak it overnight, and it does just fine that way. So I'll be back tomorrow afternoon sometime to actually do the finished product. Because what I'm going to do with this moss is I'm going to use it to blend it into some gel. So stay tuned. I'll be back tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. All right, so I'm back. I'm back here with my freshly rinsed sea moss. So this is the same sea moss that I had sitting overnight and soaking in the water and the fresh limes. So this is the sea moss after it soaks. It's beautiful, isn't it? So now I'm going to take our fresh soaked sea moss and we're going to make a gel out of it. So we have the sea moss, blender, and some distilled water. Again, distilled water is very important. And we have some mason jars that we're going to pour the finished product into. Okay, so let's do it. So you're going to add your moss to the blender, just like this. All right, now, next step is the water. Now, I pretty much eyeball this. So I'm going to give this about a little less than a cup. Got a little, maybe I'll make a whole cup. Okay. All right. So I got about a cup of water in my sea moss. I'm going to add the lid on here. So I got the moss in the blender with about a cup of water, and gonna blend it at a high speed for about, I'd say, about a couple minutes or so. So it's gonna be pretty loud, so I'm gonna start the blending, and I'll come back after the blending is complete. Okay, so that was about a 2 minute blend there, and I'd like to make a correction on the number of cups of water. That was about I'd say about three cups of water that I added to the actual sea moss, the soaked sea moss. All right, so let's get this lid off so we can see how everything looks. All right. See that. Oh, wow. Looking good. Yeah, looking good. This is it. All right. Okay. Now, let's pour. Let's pour it in. Pour it in our mason jar. And the other here, let's pour it in there. Okay. So this is the finished product. Now, what do we do with this finished product? Okay, so for all you new sea moss people, what I generally do with my sea moss, of course, like everyone else, I use it to make smoothies. I also use my sea moss gel to make homemade pancakes. I have a really tasty spelt sea moss pancake recipe that I make for myself and my family, and we really enjoy it. But yeah, sea moss, the gel itself is used as a thickening agent. So the actual gel can be used in a variety of different dishes, culinary dishes, such as soups and cakes and stews, different jellies and different products like that. But sea moss is very versatile, can be used in a lot of different ways. And I'm very sure that if you're new to the sea moss thing, you will enjoy it. It doesn't have a taste, any particular taste. I would say it's quite tasteless by itself. But as you use it and add it to different things, it definitely will add a big mineral content to your different dishes. Very healthy, and here at JBGCH, we sell our sea moss, importing it from the Caribbean, and very good price. Just take a look at our website, www.jbgch.com, to order your wild harvested sea moss. So, thank you for taking the time out to watch this video. I hope you learned something, and see you again next time. God bless.